Okay, we're going live, guys.
Good, Stephan.
Yeah. Armin, I may have to resend you the one for Roots, Heart, and Soul.
Since we're live, we'd have to restart we'd have to start with a new room.
All right, don't worry about it then.
Right. I'm popping back up.
Yeah. All right.
Ready to go?
All right, we're good.
All right. Episode 16. Roots, Heart, Soul. Roots, Heart, and Soul. Or Roots, Heart, and...
Ends. Well, you might as well finish it up, buddy. Roots, Heart, and Soul.
Roots, Heart, Soul. Episode 16 on Heritage Radio Network. I am Todd, Chef Todd Richards, of course, with Chef Stephan. And we have a wonderful guest tonight. Chef Stephan, you still down in Haiti, my friend. What's happening? Yeah.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're living a very complicated situation, but it is what it is. As long as we can do this podcast, I think we're good. And it is really exciting because I've been trying to connect with this guy for the last few months. This guy is a true disruptor in the black food and beverage space. Him and his partner are doing amazing things, and we're glad to have him here, Mr. Anthony Edwards. How are you, sir?
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong clapping for yourself. No one else.
It's good to be on with you.
Absolutely, and I'm drinking some rum.
Yes.
Oh, that's the only thing I'm missing right now. It's a bit of rum.
Well, at our age, we got to find any lubricant we can to keep these bones going. So
that's right. When you hit 50, man, that's when you got.
I turned 40 this year.
Well, welcome to the 40, buddy.
Yeah.
Give
us a lowdown, Chef Stephan. Tell us.
Unbelievable young man. Joined the Army right out of high school as an avionics system repairer, and then pivoting, honorable discharge from the Army, and went to Fordham University with a BS in computer science, dedicated himself to becoming a top, coder and developer. And he joined a big company called Building Block. Yes. And faith would have it, that's where he met his wife. And and it's funny, after meeting his wife, they came together and decided to develop an app called Eat Okra. Basically, an app that creating a space for all Black restaurants in the United States. That's unbelievable.
It is.
And one of the things that you and I always talk about, Todd, he saw both his father, his mother, and his wife's sister struggle with their own food business because of a lack of support and capital and mentorship.
Absolutely.
You know, and inspired to create a change, he embarked on a mission to not only support his own family, but uplift countless other Black entrepreneurs facing similar struggle. Idokra was born under his leadership as a CEO, and Idokra won the 2024 BTA Awards App of the Year.
Wow,
2023
congratulations.
Google for Startups Black Founders Fund, and the 2022 Hennessy Never Stop Settle Society. And also 2022 Doritos Solid Black Recognition and 2021 Apple App Store Developer Award for Connection. Now, the most interesting thing is that he has been able, with his partnership, to raise over $100,000 in grants for Black-owned restaurants.
Wow, fantastic. Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
All right, Anthony Edwards. You know, a computer man. Shout out to nerd culture. You know, Black nerd culture. You know, you're already married, so I'm sure you didn't go to the
I know you would love that.
Hey, you know me. I love nerd culture. Black nerd culture.
I know you.
Calling me a
you
nerd is
would
the
love
biggest
that.
compliment you can give me. He's off the market though, ladies. He's married, so don't expect him down to Afrotech this year. Her Afrotech was the hottest dating scene in Houston this year.
That's what they'd say. That's what the streets are saying these days. Yep.
Yeah. Well.
So we're gonna start this conversation obviously with Eat Okra, because that's an unbelievable not only development, but I've been on the app. I have it downloaded on my phone. Great, well-developed app that helps to locate restaurants, black-owned restaurants all over the country. So tell us a little bit about, obviously, the vision, you and your wife coming up with this idea, and what it became today with over 600,000 downloads and 15,000 restaurants on the platform. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is incredible, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's been a labor of love since 2016. My wife, shout out to her. She planted that seed in me to build this app for her and I to originally just for us to find some Black-owned restaurants in Brooklyn. She's from the Bronx. I'm from upstate New York. So moving
I'm originally from Queens, brother.
Okay, so moving to Brooklyn, it was like, all right, where do we go? We knew the hot spots, but where are people really congregating? What's happening? How do we learn our new neighborhood? There's a lot of culture, there's a lot of everything that comes out of our small businesses, but where are they? Where are the Black-owned restaurants? And so we wanted to build an app. She planted that seed, why don't you build an app for us to find Black-owned restaurants? And so I took it on as a challenge, and it started as just a project, turned passion project, turned business ultimately, and then it turned into something else. Wasn't prepared for it, but happy we're here now, of course. But yeah, it's been a crazy journey over the last, we started in 2016, so
That's
8
8
years we've been working on it. Yeah, and the first 4 years was really the development years. So I was that guy, that nerd guy, right? In the bedroom, working 9-to-5 job, spending all my free time when I wasn't with my girlfriend at the time, Janique. I was spending all my time coding, nights, weekends, waking up, going to work, coming home, eating, going to gym or something like that, coding again from 8 to 2 in the morning, waking up at 5 or 6, coding for an hour, and then going to work. I was really crazy like that for a long time, to get the platform to where it was. And it really was just a perfect time, perfect opportunity for how the app really had its legs and really took off.
What is what is the word okra? What significance does that have in the name of the app? I mean, we see it in many different formats, but what is the significance of the word okra for our listeners to understand?
Yeah, so okra is, really a nod to our culture, our heritage. It's a nod to, or just a remembrance and remembering of that history of okra being brought over during the slave trade and settled in the South, where our both my wife and I's families are from the South. Our roots are from the South, so it's in our cooking, in our Louisiana cooking, and then my wife, she's Gullah Geechee, her family's South Carolina, and so we just wanted to use that name okra to pay homage and like really play off the stickiness and the sliminess of okra. And so, we're using that stickiness to really think about how we're bringing communities together through food.
Wow, that's super interesting. But one of the things that strikes me in your story is your dad owning a barbecue restaurant, your mom owning a catering company, and you saw their struggle. How did that affect you within the development of this vision and what you wanted to really accomplish, not only for them but for Black and brown owned restaurants in general?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, as I think about the platform, I think about how I'm building it and building the company is really it's just like they needed more resources. They needed more butts in the seats. They needed more digital customers. They needed awareness. They needed access to capital. And so as I think about how we're evolving and where we started, it really was on a digital front. Like, where do I find the Black-owned restaurants in my neighborhood? Um, how do I access them? How do I get to them quickly? We had Yelp, we had a whole bunch of things, but it really wasn't a way to find the Black-owned businesses unless you're like in the comments or it's a word of mouth. And when it's word of mouth, it typically is like everyone goes to the same spots when there's a place literally next door that has awesome food that you just would probably not know about, especially here in New York City. We all go one route to the subways and
Mhm.
back. We don't take that left or go around the block or go 2 avenues this way or 2 blocks to the right, even. You know what I'm saying? And you just don't know what's there. So first was really about just the access and discovery part of the business, and now we think about like how do we help with resources, and so we partnered with like Pepsi and Easy Cater and Uber Eats to make sure that we're able to help be that middleman and get the resources to the Black-owned businesses. And so we did do $100,000 in grants in February in partnership with Darn Diaspora as well and Uber Eats. We've been working with Pepsi for the last 4 years and doing and being like a top of funnel so that they're able to get um, access to campaigns and access to national, like local and national campaigns, as well as getting their online ordering and first party delivery set up, making sure you have a good website, you have a great digital presence with Figure Eight. And so those kind of resources, those kind of opportunities is how we've been thinking about the platform, and then like how we can go deeper. How do we be that engine that's being able to give loans at low interest, or be able to like continue to foster more educational opportunities through webinars, through in real life activations, through um, conferences that we did last month. So we're still
Right.
evolving as a business, but all the things go back to just seeing my mom struggle, just being an awesome cook, awesome ideas, but not necessarily having all the business acumen to be successful in her business, right? And so, as the business owners, we're the C-suite
Right.
typically in our businesses, and
Mhm.
so there's so much that and then there's even more that you don't know, right? So it's just that how do we get people out of the day-to-day of their business and start working on their business?
Chef Todd Richards here, Chef Stephan. We're here with Anthony Edwards Jr. from Eat Okra. One thing that you spoke about, a couple of times here is the culture. the culture of food. And we asked about the name okra and of course eating okra and things like that. But then you also talk about neighborhoods and the effect that that food has on the neighborhoods. So in setting up this platform, you know, you know, what are the neighborhoods looking like, when it comes to food? A lot of times we get put into a monolith that it might just be soul food or it might be that. But, just as your company has expanded, have you seen, different takes on food, associated with Black culture throughout the app and throughout the areas in which the app is used?
Yeah, one of the earliest like restaurants I visited that I learned about as I was doing this, like adding these new restaurants into the platform was, gosh, I can't remember the name. It's been a while. They've been closed for a while, but it was like a Japanese Jamaican fusion restaurant,
Mm,
and the
I can see
food,
that.
and it was right.
Yeah.
It was right around the corner from my house. Not
Mm,
quarter mile, half a mile away.
mm,
I went past it all the time. Never knew it was back on. But once I was in there, I was there like once a week until they closed. But that just goes to say that there's so much ingenuity. There's so much opportunity out there. We've been creative, always have been creative, and so we want to make sure that that has a platform. Those type of businesses have a platform,
Now,
and
I, being in this food and beverage space, especially coming from Haiti, I've also been behind producing multiple food festivals, and I also do Haitian Restaurant Week, which is done during the month of May as a celebration of Haitian Cultural Heritage Month. And one of the things that I've noticed in trying to create Haitian Restaurant Week is the lack of technology use. Um, a lot of these restaurants don't have a website. A lot of these restaurants are, in terms of service or in terms of culinary acumen, are not always up to par. And one of the things that I've tried to do in support of these restaurants, as a culinary consultant myself, is to offer my service, even practically for free, to see if I could help to uplift the many Haitian restaurants that are around the country. Um, have you in creating those grants, have you seen the need for that part also in some of the restaurants that you've encountered?
oh, absolutely. As going through thousands of businesses, you could tell like websites weren't up to date or they didn't have a website. Delivery was hit or miss. A lot of restaurants didn't have delivery pre-COVID, or even had a good website. And so COVID taught us that you got to be digitally ready at right now. Customers eat with their eyes first, and so you have to have good photography as well. And so you got to be on all the apps. You got to have access to everything. Now we have restaurants that are on like 7 different platforms, just trying to make sure they meet their customer wherever they're at. And so no longer the days that you're just relying on walk-ins. We don't know when the next COVID could happen again or something like that. So you really got to
mm,
think ahead at this point. And what we did, one of the best decisions we made, was one Jason coming into our lives, and actually Jason Wallace, who I believe you both probably know, Chef Todd. I think you know Jason
mm,
Wallace.
yeah.
He joined our team back in 2020. It's just been amazing to work with. He's like our restaurant scientist and coined the restaurant scientist. So him and his skill set, his passion that he brings to the education part of the business, and just the knowledge that he shares and the passion that he shares with all of them, it's just so impactful. And it definitely fills my gap, as I don't have that full restaurant background experience. I worked at McDonald's for a couple of years. I worked at Pizza Hut all through high school, worked in the kitchen, but never on like this level. And so having his knowledge set and partnership has been great. And he's able to really like get into the math, the math of the business, you know.
Right.
And so it's an eye opening when you hear him talk, and the restaurant owners really respond. We've had some really great success stories from it.
With the app, and not to say that I'm not tech savvy. I'm just dangerous enough, to hit the wrong button and blow up the world. Just like anybody else would. But the ease of use, which is I think is important. I think it's important if you're going to have something where people use the word quote unquote discover, a new restaurant. It has to be ease of use. And so, with the platform and setting up the neighborhoods, I think what you all have done a great job is making the use easy for us to understand, the profiles of people. And I think Stephan, what he was alluding to is that sometimes I don't think people understand their profile until someone puts them, on the spot and say, hey, who are you? What are you bringing to the table? Why should people come eat here? What makes your food delicious? Am I off kilter in that point from my observation in using the app?
No, we intentionally have made it so that it's super easy to just get started. You open the app, you tell us where you want to look or where you're at, and boom, that's as simple as that. We just start feeding you all the information of what's around you. But that we have also done is make sure that we're able to tell the stories or highlight the stories that are happening as well. We started our own product called The Root, where we've been highlighting chefs and their stories in the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really, really proud of the work we're doing on our blog. And then even for a long time, we've been having folks highlighting stories even before that not necessarily ours, but definitely needed to be heard and been put out there.
That is great. Now, let me ask you a question. I know you've been able to raise $100,000 in grants for Black-owned restaurants. And in retrospect, in conversation, $100,000 seems like a lot of money, but it's not. It's not really when you know how much is needed to help these folks get to that next level in order really to reach their full potential. How difficult has it been to find corporate partners that see your vision, that understand the vision, that really and not only see and understand the vision, but see the value of the work that you guys have done? How difficult has this been to reach those corporate partners and be able to build that fund to make it bigger? We would hope to see instead of $100,000, $1 million in the fund, for example.
Yeah, no, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. It's, right timing, right team, right introductions, right, for us, right products. How big is your audience? How big is the opportunity? And so we're still struggling to find the right partners with everything going on politically. Makes it even tougher, as we think about what can we do in 2025, 2026. And so right now we're like at this realignment phase and figuring out like who's actually going to continue their commitments, who's going to double down on their commitments. And so, yeah, that's kind of like where we're at. It's pretty annoying, of course.
Right.
We want to do more, but we've had some great partners, and they're still rocking with us next year. So I'm really, really happy about that.
I mean, with this political climate that you spoke about, have you seen, membership or viewership go up? Sometimes we see it in other app platforms where, your particular candidate might have won, and we see it, and some people might get repulsed by the person who won, and they just want to support, like we've seen, the corporate sponsors, or corporations like Walmart is having a hard time on TikTok right now. Just in rolling back, their programs and things like that. So strategically, you have to not only partner with people. I think what you're saying. But also you have to want to partner with like-minded people and not necessarily revert back to sometimes feeling tokenism as the backlash that might be happening to some of these people out there, via TikTok or other social media platforms.
Yeah, we certainly think about that and are really trying to position ourselves to always be ready to do what we do best, which is helping people continue to find and support Black-owned businesses. And we're going to continue to always do that regardless of who's in office, what politically is happening. So if you're aligned with us, then we're happy to work with you. And we hope that that our consumers are always looking for Black-owned businesses and want to use us regardless of what's happening out there in the world. But typically what we do see is when things are really not going so well for us, and something politically is happening, or somebody got kicked out of a restaurant for being, wearing the wrong shoes, not able to dine, that reaction typically comes, well, why aren't you at Eat Okra on Eat Okra app and using that app to find Black-owned businesses?
I mean, shout out to former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, who has been kicked out of a couple of restaurants in Atlanta who have seen some some protests. Wow. I don't think they were, I mean, you kick out the former mayor and you don't think there's backlash, I'm just saying, so.
2 weeks ago, I had the pleasure of having Mr. KJ Kearney on the podcast, who
my guy
hosted your culinary conference. And one of the things that he mentioned that I think is really important, he said it's great that you have different clusters of people doing things in the Black food and beverage space that is helping to uplift the space in general, not just restaurants, but chefs. You have media, you have these kind of platforms like yours, but it's also important, and that's what he was saying, that I think is and I'm bringing this to you. He says that it's also important that even though that we're all sort of spread out into creating those spaces, for example, the Bay Haven Food and Wine Festival, the culinary conference, the app, Black Restaurant Week on another side. It's also important that we connect with each other, because if we stay spread out and we're not connected, then we lose strength. What's your opinion on that comment?
No, I agree. We all have our roles to play. We all can continue to support, there's overlap across all of our businesses where we should be supporting each other's. Eat Okra can support your by selling tickets or just giving you knowledge of what's happening at Bay Haven. Same thing with Black Restaurant Week. And vice versa. They can be sending people back to Eat Okra to continue to find restaurants when they're traveling outside of this specific event, or while you're at this event. What do you do when you go home, or tomorrow, the next day? You know what I mean? I think there's so much opportunity for us to continue to work together to only uplift and and for us all to grow together. I think competition is great. It means there's a demand for it, and that we can all win. There's so much opportunity for us all to win that we don't need to be like the crabs in the barrel, so to speak, in the way we operate around each other. It's just too much opportunity for that.
Chef Todd Richards, Chef Stephan, Anthony Edwards Jr., Eat Okra, Roots Heart Soul podcast on Heritage Radio Network. We want to switch gears, from the one side of you as the developer and everything, and let's talk about the consumer, which I don't think that a lot of times people dive into what the consumer wants enough. And understanding how to shape the story of our food and things like that. And where are the trends? What do you see in major cities, Atlanta, Houston, LA, New York, Chicago? Where are we going to eat? Who are we dining with?
We see a lot of places that folks are going to. Tatiana's in New York is really hot right now. Kokomo is a great opportunity. Old Lady Gang is killing it in the reviews on good, mixed. Point is, they're getting a lot of activity, and so as I looked at the data, I kind of like those things kind of pop out to me. But soul food is always doing great. Spot great. Vegan is definitely, we see that as a trend. What else are people doing?
Well, I see a lot of reviews about like juice bars and things like that. And the reason why I bring this up, is a question because just understanding that a lot of the foods that we were talking about here, the reception, in the world might be they're unhealthy, they're this and that. When I look at the where people are giving the most reviews and things like that, it is a wide a color array of food stuff, including the things where I think are healthier, in platforms. As the juice bars, I mean every major city has 4, 5, 6 juice bar reviews, which some of them are very interesting. Some of the combinations are interesting when you look at the food stuff. Naturally people go to beets and they go to spinach. The beet and ginger ones. Then me and Stephan get to one. There's one place I think, if I remember correctly, in Houston. Really focusing on hibiscus and things like that. So it just shows that, just in the data alone, that we're not a monolith into things like that. And then also what I applaud you all are doing is also dispelling the stereotype of what only our food is and tend not to be healthy. And veganism, of course, is a Black culture expertise. Most people won't assign us to us, but we do have expertise in that. Yeah, that's my soapbox moment for today, live here on Heritage Radio Network.
Yeah, like we have 2 spots that I go to frequently that are juice spots. One is Brooklyn Blend, and another is the Nourish spot. And those juices are amazing.
I gotta get you.
I gotta get you to at Brooklyn Blend.
I gotta get you out of Brooklyn into Harlem, and visit a Haitian fusion restaurant that I opened about a year ago called Deja Vu.
Okay.
So
I need to pull up for sure. Yes.
I've been very lucky to have been able to do quite a bit of consulting, and open quite a few restaurants around the country, Orlando, New York, Miami, and Deja Vu is really one restaurant that I'm very proud of that I helped to open. Talking about Haitian restaurant, we tend to, again, this conversation about us being monolithic, or we're all put into one box. Caribbean food is one of the things that is still fighting for its individualism as well. Whereas Jamaican restaurants and Haitian restaurants and everything in between is put into the Caribbean box, and so a lot of people say, well, it's one and the same. So if I've tried one, I've tried all of them. And you living in Brooklyn, big Caribbean community.
Absolutely.
Not only from Haiti, but from Puerto Rico, Dominicans, Haitians, Trinidad, Guyanese, that has, again, Bahamians that have unbelievable of cuisine that is very different from one another. Have you been able to try some of these restaurants, and have they joined the app?
Yeah, many have joined the platform before, and I have tried quite a few of them. One thing we did in our platform, I thought about this problem a lot, is that that Caribbean, the Caribbean restaurants are always bottled into, I'm just Caribbean. Like, no, you have an identity. Like, you know what I mean? You're from a specific place. And so what we did in the platform is we allowed restaurants to like tag themselves with specific flags that they want to represent as for the restaurant. And so we wanted to give that individualism and respect. I want to just say like, oh, it's an African restaurant. Where in Africa? You know what I mean? Like, where in the Caribbean are we talking about? And
are you
so
from
in the app
Senegal?
now,
Are you from Nigeria? And the food is so different from one place to the other.
Right, and people are seeking those things out, so we wanted to make that a bit easier. And so now when you start scrolling through the app, you'll start to see flags pop up that you'll be able to like resonate with or learn what that flag is and what that country is and some of the the main ingredients that that area is known for. And so I'm really, really proud about that. We just released that a few months ago, so it'll start to pick up more, but that was one of the features I've been really, really, really excited about.
I mean, that's really, really exciting. Just in the research, that has been done with Roots Heart Soul, cookbook, of course, Chef Stephan and I, shout out to Amy Condon, who helped me write the book, and really just understanding the travels that we have. I think the surprising thing for me is that, you can bite into the same name of a dish, like empanadas, and then you can have, so many different flavors, just in a short, period of time. And it was almost like a lost, like a lost loved one that you haven't seen in a very long time, from the flakiness of the crust,
Right.
or they say this is curry. Well, this don't taste like this curry from over here. This doesn't taste like this curry from over there, and the different colors and hues of the curry, gave me, a different insight, to that. And that's where I really enjoy the app as well, because, just by adding the flags, it gives different insight to people and into their heritage and things like that. So what do you see next? What is the next, couple of years of the platform? Where are we going? Where are you expanding? I of course, as a chef and a person who travels a lot, I always look for cocktail culture as well. I see cocktail culture starting to pop up more and more through the app. But let people know what are you all planning for the next couple of years?
Yeah, the next couple of years, we're expanding. We want to see more folks using the app. We want more restaurants and chefs on the platform as well. We're also thinking about how are we supporting the Black food entrepreneurs who are making products like e-commerce products for long distance shipping. And so we are expanding our marketplace. We have I have an awesome editorial manager now named Brienne. She's been really like going deep with our editorial content. So we want to start doing a little bit more long form content as well as the articles that we're doing. So, making sure we're telling a lot of stories. We ultimately want to bring more bodies to the platform that we can then send bodies to restaurant owners, to CPG brands. So putting more bodies in the seats, putting more people spending more money digitally. We really want to see our conference expand. So we want to see it grow from 2 years and then actually see it travel to Chicago, LA, down south. And so that's the grind. We're really, right now just spending a lot of time for the rest of this year getting, more folks involved with the conference. I'm having a lot of positive conversations. And so look to bring that back next fall.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of people you missed in the conversation. We'll find them though for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we're not going to mention that right now. We're not going to mention that right now because you and I, being who we are, Chef Todd, we're going to offer freely our support to this amazing project. And we're going to be there for you to help you to continue getting to the next level. And talking about the conference, the noise alone was huge.
Absolutely.
Some of the names that were able to be there in New York was also a big deal. Talk to us about the conference itself, the vision behind that. What were you trying to accomplish, at least for the first year? And then let us know, what are you trying to do in the years to come, other than in the future bringing it down, moving it around, and expanding it to other cities, which I can tell you that Atlanta will be right open for you in that matter. With me and Chef Todd there, you have the support. You have our support to bring it to Atlanta.
I'm good then.
Talk to us about the conference.
Yeah, I mean, it started with the name, the Culinary Creators Conference. I called it that because I felt, our history here in America has always been, here's the scraps, and we've had to make delicacies with those scraps, and so we've always been creative. We've been creative with our businesses, creative how we make money, and so I wanted to just throw a nod to by calling it the Culinary Creators Conference, 3C. And so the goal has always been for us, our goal as a platform is to bring opportunities to Black-owned food and beverage businesses. We've been focused on restaurants, but we also think about, like I said, e-commerce brands as well. And so this conference was meant to bring those culinary creatives together, chefs, restaurant owners together and then also bring people that have opportunities from our corporate partnerships who we've been, meeting with, bringing Cisco into the building, bringing Sodexo, and having them talk amongst each other, just being that catalyst of conversation so that exchanging of ideas and money can happen, or opportunities can happen naturally throughout the course of the event. So we had about 43 panelists. We had 12 panels going on. We had 2 going simultaneous in tandem, which was great. Both stages were both packed out with people, as well as we had 50 vendors in between the 2 stages that were restaurant owners and CPG brands. And so people met a lot of folks for the first time. They were inspired by each other. They were starting to do business from each other. One woman got a wholesale order on the spot from a restaurant owner. So now she'll be selling her rum cakes to a new restaurant. Sodexo is talking to 5 of the CPG brands that were there and is looking to get them into a food service operation, or just get them on their path of what they need to be even considered for those platforms, So we want to bring folks that have, access to capital, low interest loans or grants, even accelerators, or, can we get the Walmarts and the Targets, Walmart's it's a topic now, but get them into the Target, like how do we get them into these programs? And so the goal is to continue to bring those people of those decision makers into the room so that they can provide, the opportunity all in one space.
The thing is that you're the king of apps right now, but it sounds like to me you're enjoying being the king maker, which I think is also, or probably even has more power than necessarily being the king. Which we salute you on. We got about 10 more minutes left here on Roots Heart Soul podcast. Chef Todd, Richard, Chef Stephan, Anthony Edwards Jr. Eat Okra on Heritage Radio Network. So let's just have some fun here. Let's just talk about, what do you eat? When you break out the app, what are you all looking for? We want to know. We want to get the Anthony Edwards inspiration to pull out our phones right now. Our listeners pull out our phones and say,
give us 5 restaurants or 5 foods that you ultimately looking for on a regular, you and your wife.
I'm a barbecue person, so I actually. I don't know if you remember, but you did a guide with us a few years back. You did a barbecue guide.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And if you didn't know, your guide is one of the top app guides, like across all of Apple.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Wow, that's crazy.
It's definitely the top. Let's say top 10, the top 5, top 10 in the category of food and beverage.
I never knew that. That's crazy. That's crazy.
No. The barbecue, and I actually visited like a few of the barbecue restaurants you mentioned, and one of them was in Oakland.
Oh yeah.
Horn Barbecue.
Yeah. Horn Barbecue. Yeah. James Beard Award winner, Esquire, best chef of the year. I mean, that Horn Barbecue is so. And the line, sometimes you see pictures of lines, online, and you think it's okay, well, whatever. I don't care when you go. it's a line. It's a line. That sausage, when you bite it, it snaps. The brisket is on point. And it's you don't think about barbecue in Oakland. I mean, at least I don't. But we go,
That was the
man.
best pulled pork sandwich I think I ever had in my life. I
Well,
tell everybody about that pulled pork sandwich. I also went down
good.
to LA and went to Bloodsow's.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
that was awesome too.
That's my man.
So for
That's my
me, I'm
man.
always like looking for the next barbecue spot.
Mm.
What else do we do?
I mean,
My wife,
that's just crazy. Sometimes you sit here and you do stuff, and when people ask you, you don't know what the end result is. But to see how long something can travel that you do, so I really appreciate you sharing that knowledge with everyone and
yeah.
everything.
So
And
everyone listening, if you have a iPhone, open up your Apple Maps app and type in "Eat Okra," and then you'll see a list of about 40 guides we've built with folks like Chef Todd Richards. I think KJ has done a guide with us. Chef Stephan, we got to definitely get you on there as well.
oh man, that's gonna be crazy.
Stephan,
That's gonna be
we
crazy.
got to get, yeah, definitely
Listen,
some
listen, buddy.
Haitian, definitely your Haitian friends
I'm,
across the country.
I'm,
We got
I'm
to do it.
I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm happy to collaborate, to contribute, and like I said, I produce Taste of Haiti in South Florida since 2012, so it's been quite a while, and we're looking to expand Taste of Haiti to multi cities as well, and then Haitian Restaurant Week, which happens um, in May, and we do that for 2 weeks, where we really work to not only uplift but to try and support Haitian restaurants around the country.
So let
So
me let me let me let me
absolutely,
say
man.
something
Yeah,
about
we got to do it.
your Haitian restaurant weeks. Like most people do a week. Every time we hear something about about Haitian, you guys do two weeks. Next is gonna be 2 months. You know,
Listen,
Eh.
listen. It's difficult. It's difficult to do each city separately right
Mhm.
now because it demands quite a bit of logistics. So
Mhm.
that's why we give Haitian restaurant we do and we do worldwide for Haitian Restaurant Week,
Wow,
from
unbelievable.
France all and England all the way down to all the way down to Haiti. I have Haitian
Mhm.
restaurants. My restaurant in Haiti also participated last year. So you have, that's why we do 2 weeks instead of one.
No, wow, wow. You the king. I guess you could demand a king's ransom. I guess
No, no, no,
that's
no,
the point.
no. But you see,
Mhm.
the word that you have taught me to use,
Mhm.
being a king is wonderful.
Yeah,
Being a kingmaker is
absolutely,
even better.
absolutely.
Even better because this is a conversation we were having with Tony Timpton last
Mhm.
week. Um, your light doesn't get dim because you're helping other people shine. And I think that's an amazing conversation that we need to have among each other. Um, we don't Our lights don't get dim because we're helping somebody else go up, or we're
No,
helping
negative. Yeah.
somebody else's visibility. It,
No,
it, it,
our lights just shine
it
brighter
shines even
together.
brighter.
Yeah, brighter
It
together.
shines even
Yeah.
brighter. And
Mm.
this is one of the reasons why I'm so excited about. I was so excited about the conference.
Mm.
When I saw the app, I'm like, you know, this is what we need. And then the conversation with KJ is one of the things that we need to talk about eventually. Is to connect all these disruptors together, these creators together, and say, look, we each are in our own cluster, but let's not only support but strengthen what everybody else is doing. And I think that's going to be really important. Um, what was for you, as both as a creator, um, and a producer? Right now you're a producer as well, because creating this event, the conference, is no small feat by any stretch of the imagination. What was your biggest takeaway? What did you see that really punched you in the gut and said, "This is the reason why I'm doing this"?
Yeah, I think when I saw about 100 people standing to watch a conversation about catering or a conversation about technology that was happening on the smaller stage. Like I knew the big stage would get an audience, right? But I wasn't so sure what was going to happen when there was a big stage. Something was going on this stage, and then something was going on a smaller educational stage. As it was, a little less in production value, but the content was still incredible. And when I saw that over 100 people were standing to get those nuggets of information that was happening there, I knew that okay, this is the direction that this audience wants. They want more of that. And so that was for me, that was like, oh, okay, this is great.
So Anthony, we're getting close to the hour. Share with our audience where we can find you, where we can follow you, where we can get more information about not only the culinary conference but Eat Okra, and how also can the community support the work that you're doing.
Yeah. So on social media, we're all things Eat Okra, the app. We're not on, I think it's Butterfly, which is the new platform apparently that we all have to be on now. I just got on Threads and I'm not even crazy active on that. And now I got to think about another platform. But we will be probably Eat Okra, the app on that when we get to it. And then www.eatokra.com is pretty much, home base for all things that we do. So from there, you can link out to the conference, but it's culinarycreativesconference.com. And please download the app, Eat Okra, in your app store, Google or Android Google Play. Yes, please please continue to let your family members know about the platform. Please DM us, let us know how we can be better to serve you and your needs. Let the restaurant, big help would be to let the restaurant owners know that they need to be on Eat Okra, or let them know you came because Eat Okra helped you find them. And so just that kind of touch point, or any touch point with a new person to use the platform is super helpful right now.
Todd, any last words?
Of course, I'm sitting here in the frigid temperatures of Washington, D.C. My Chicago blood is gone, bro. I ain't going to lie, man. My Chicago blood, I've been in the South, back in the South too long, man. I got a bundle outfit and everything like that.
Listen, I'm an island boy.
Out there in T-shirts.
I'm an island boy. It's all T-shirt for me.
So I'm going to pull out the app myself because no disrespect to this hotel that I've been in for the last off and on for the last couple of weeks, but I am looking for some different foods to eat. So I will be using the app myself tonight. I will definitely give somebody feedback on and let them know that I found them on the Eat Okra app. It better be damn good because Uber rides here are minimum $35, $40. So one way. So I'm already in 80 to $100 with tip, for a meal, so they better not run out of no oxtails. I want to hear none of that tonight. Oh, we ran out of oxtails at 5:00. You should have put it online. You should have told me before I got here. You better get the pressure cooker out and start cooking me, whatever. But no,
there's some great restaurants in DC, man.
Yeah, DC got some good, some good stuff out there.
Yeah. I really probably go see Rock Harper. Shout out to Rock Harper. And go to his restaurant. I owe him a visit for a long time.
His fried catfish, man, was
yeah. I mean, crispy on the ends too. I mean, that's how you see people make catfish. This is the nerd stuff we talk about. It's crispy all the way through. But sometimes when it's just crispy on the end, you get that tenderness in the middle. To me, that's what makes a great piece of catfish. So All right. So we're wrapping up here. Chef Todd Richards, Chef Stephan, Anthony Edwards Jr., Roots Heart Soul podcast on Heritage Radio Network. Chef Stephan, take us on out of here, bro.
Absolutely, Anthony. It was really an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. I will let you know again how proud and you have my full support, and so does Chef Todd as well. Not only as contributors but collaborators wherever you may need the support. Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 16. Damn,
16.
We're getting close to the end of our season 1. Unbelievable season this has been, with some of the most amazing talents in the food and beverage space. Next week, we have a very good friend of Chef Todd Richards, but somebody that I admire immensely.
The legendary, yeah.
Indeed. So tune in for that. And thank you again for joining us on Roots, Heart, and Soul. And we bid you good night and see you next week.
You listen to Roots, Heart, and Soul on Heritage Radio Network.
And wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and support us there. Thank you so much, everybody. Anthony Edwards, it's been an ultimate pleasure to have you on the podcast, Roots, Heart, and Soul. Ladies and gentlemen, we bid you good night.
Good night.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.